Hello all, my name is Krishna and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, we'll continue the Docker playlist tutorial and this is the second tutorial. Guys, understand we'll try to implement Docker completely from end to end. So in this particular video, we'll try to take a simple problem statement. And again, why I'm saying simple problem statement, since this is your learning stage. As we go ahead, we'll take more complex problem statement in both machine learning, deep learning and natural language processing. But right now we are just starting with a simple problem statement. Herein, we'll take a use case, we'll try to solve it. We'll create the model. First of all, we need to create the model. Then we will go ahead and try to create a Flask app. And till now, guys, I have not uploaded much tutorials on Flask app, how you can actually create an web app using Flask, how we can create web API using Flask. That also I'll be showing you in this particular tutorial, considering the same problem statement. Then we will try to test that in the Postman, whether it is working fine or not. So let's go ahead and try to see that what problem statement I'm going to take and how I'm going to solve it. So let's go ahead and try to see the problem statement. So guys, let's go ahead and try to solve this particular problem statement. The problem statement is basically called as banknote authentication. And here we need to find out, the image of the note by just seeing the image of the note, whether that note is authentic or it is not authentic. Okay. And when I say banknote, this may be money, right? This may be other things also. So here you can see some description of the data over here. Data were extracted from the images that were taken from genuine and forged banknote like specimens. For digitization, an industrial camera used for print inspection was used. The final image has 400 cross 400 pixels. Due to the object length and distance to the investigated object, grayscale parameters with a resolution of 660 dpi were gained. And you can see that through wavelet transform tools were used to extract feature of the images. So from that, we are able to get some features of that particular images. And the features are like variance, skewness, kurtosis, entropy. And considering these values, we basically say that whether the banknote is authentic or it is not authentic. Okay. So if the class 0 is, we basically say that it is not authentic. And if the class is 1, we basically say that it is authentic. Okay. Now, considering this, guys, first of all, where you can get the data set of the link, you have to go to this particular website and you can actually get the data set of this particular use case. And remember, guys, one important thing that this particular data set is from the UCI repositories, but it was available in Kaggle, so I downloaded it from there. And remember, all this particular code will be given in the GitHub link. You can also download the data set from there. Okay. Now, initially, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to import NumPy and Pandas. So here you can see I've imported NumPy and Pandas. And remember, guys, this is just a simple problem statement. You need not do normalization. You need not do any other thing, because the main reason why I'm solving this simple use case is to show you how we can actually use Dockers, and before that, we need to create the Flask application. Now, I'm actually reading this banknote authentication.csv file, which is present in the same working location over here. So I have all my data set in my df. When I do df.head, if I take 20 records and show you, you can see that based on these 4 various parameters, my values are 0 zeros. If you want to really see ones also, let me just see the top 30 records. And okay, top 30 also it is not present. So let me see the top 100 records. Okay, still it is not present. Let me just see the whole df value, guys. Now here you can see that I'm having all 111s at the end. There are total 1371 records. You can see some of the records are also having zeros and some of the records are actually having ones also. So we have a good number of zeros and ones. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to first of all divide this whole data set into independent and dependent feature. Let me write a comment on top of it. And guys, if you are very much familiar onto this, I have solved many problems like this. So I think if you're following my playlist, you will be able to understand all these things, right? And it is pretty much simple. This is the most basic things, right? So I have converted this into my independent and dependent feature. All my X values having the independent features. And in order to get that, what I'm doing, I will just get all the columns except the last column. That I can do by using ilock, where I've taken colon basically means all the records I want. And this basically means except the last column, I want each and every column that are present in the data set. Similarly, in the dependent feature, I'm getting the last column, right? This is pretty much simple. Now, when I do x.head, you can see that this is my whole data set over here, right? This is my independent feature. You cannot see the class column inside this, right? Similarly, this is my y.head. You can see all my y values. This is my dependent feature altogether. Now, the next step is pretty much simple. We are going to do the train test split. In the train test split, guys, you can see that I have given, see, first of all, I've imported the library from sklearn.model selection, import train test split. Then you have xtrain, xtest, ytrain, ytest. Then you have train test split where I'm giving my x comma y, where my test size is 0.3. That is basically 30% I want of that particular data to be in the test data. And I've taken some random state value. Okay, you can take any random state value as you like. The next thing is that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to apply random forest classifier, since this is a classification problem statement. So all I'm doing is that from sklearn.ensemble import random forest classifier. I have initialized random forest classifier, and this is done with the fit for xtrain and ytrain. Pretty much simple, guys. No much complex things. These are basic ML things what we have done till now. Okay. Once we are creating this particular classifier, when we are fitting for the training data set, all you have to do, the next step is the prediction part. Okay, so I'm predicting with respect to x comma x underscore test, I'm getting the y pred value. Finally, I'm checking the accuracy. For checking the accuracy, I have to import from sklearn.metrics import accuracy score. Here I'm having my accuracy score where I'm actually checking with respect to my y underscore test, y underscore pred, and finally I'm getting a score of 0.99. Now you may be considering this may be an overfitting problem, guys. It may be. Okay, we are not much focusing on that because I told you that this whole lecture, this whole playlist is to learn Docker, and to see that how we can actually productionize a model in a proper way. Now, after I have created this particular model that is classified, I need to convert this into a pickle file so that I can use it in my Flask app. Now, for this, what I'll do is that I'm writing this code. First of all, import pickle. Then I'm opening a file name which is called as classifier.pkl in the write byte mode. Then I'm dumping whatever classifier I've actually created over here inside this particular pickle out, that is inside this particular file itself. And finally, always remember to close that pickle, guys. Okay, close this particular file. When you do pickleout.close, automatically that file will save and it will get closed. And if you want to really do the prediction with respect to this particular file, guys, you just have to provide your inputs like this. Suppose this is my one row of inputs that I want to provide and find out which group it actually belongs to, whether the node is authentic or not. So I'm getting this particular value. Pretty much simple till now. Again, I'm telling you why I have gone and shown you this particular code, because everybody is almost familiar with this. This is the most simplest example of any machine learning techniques. Okay. Now I have created my pickle file. Okay. So this was the main thing. I wanted to create this particular pickle file. Now what I'll do is that quickly, now is the most important thing. I'm going to open my Spider. Okay. I'm going to open my Spider. Let me just zoom in. Now inside this Spider, I'm going to write my Flask app. And trust me, guys, you can see that this classifier.pickle is created over here. Okay. So I have this particular file over here in the same working location. Make sure that you have in the same working location. You can see .pkl file over there itself. Now, what I will do is that I will show you how you can create a Flask app from scratch. And trust me, this will be wonderful because I've never taken in-depth session on Flask itself. So many people had also requested me, Krish, can you just take an in-depth session of Flask also? So this playlist will also help you to do that. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to import from Flask. I'm going to import the Flask library. And remember, with Python greater than 3 version, Flask is automatically present inside that particular Anaconda version, Conda version itself. I'm also going to import request because request will be actually helpful for doing the get and post. At that time, we'll be using this request library. I'll show you how it will be used. Then I'm just going to import pandas as PD because I may be requiring pandas. I may import NumPy as NP. Apart from that, I will also be using one more library, but I'll keep that for the later stages right now. So considering this, guys, first of all, whenever you want to start a Flask app, right, you have to start from a specific point. How do you actually start it? You can write it as app is equal to Flask of underscore name underscore. Now, what is this underscore name? It is just saying that from which point you want to start this particular application. So for doing that, guys, all you have to do is that, and always remember, this is the first step that everybody should do. Everybody should remember this particular first step, guys. So what this underscore name actually suggests. So I'm just going to go down and I'm going to put a condition saying that if underscore underscore name is equal to underscore underscore main, oops, underscore underscore main, then I'm just going to say app.run. Okay, right now, what is this basically saying? Whenever this line is getting executed, that basically means this Flask app will start its execution from here. Okay, that is pretty much simple. This is, I hope everybody is familiar to this. I think there should not be any much confusion as such. So let's focus on the other thing now. Now, after this, what I'm going to do is that, as you have seen, first of all, I have to load this classifier.pickle file. So let's go and load this classifier.pickle file. For that, I'm just going to say pickle underscore in is equal to, I'm going to open this particular file, classifier.pickle, okay, and this will be opened in my read byte mode. Okay, so this will be opened in my read byte mode, RB, sorry. Yes, it will be open in read byte mode. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say classifier is equal to pickle dot load model, or I'll just say load pickle dot in, pickle underscore. So I'm basically loading this particular file. Let's see whether it is okay. I've not imported the pickle, so let's import the pickle first. Okay, so I have loaded the pickle, and this is my pickle underscore in. Let's see whether it is working fine or not when considering this till now. If I execute it, you can see that yes, it's perfectly running. You can see this particular app is running at this particular port number. It's properly fine. Okay, so I'm just going to stop this. Now, what will be my next step? The next step will be that let me just create this Flask app. What will be the root path? What does, I mean, when we are just going into inside this particular URL as 127.0.0.1:5000, what page it should display? Okay, and so for that, I'll just write one function which I'll say it as definition welcome. So this is just my function, and here I'll say return welcome all, a simple welcome page, so that at least we are trying to provide some kind of greetings. But understand, if I want to make this work inside Flask, I have to provide a decorator. And here I'm just going to provide a decorator saying that app dot, I think there'll be something called as route. Okay, app dot route, and this will be my root path. Okay, so that basically means whenever I go inside this particular path directly, I will be first triggering this particular function, and I'll be getting a message saying that welcome all. Okay, pretty much simple. So what I'm going to do is that quickly I am going to run over here. Let me just remove this till now. Okay, and before that, let me run this whole code. Okay, now it is running at 127.0.1 with 5000. You can see over here, right? I'll just go over here. I'll reload this page. Sorry, not this. I'll reload this page. Now you can see that I'm getting a message, welcome all. Pretty much simple, guys. You can see the message. It is working perfectly fine. So my Flask app is running in a proper way without any problems right now. Okay. So here you can see that how we are getting everything. We are getting the get status and everything. And by default, if I'm not providing any method, this will actually be a get status. Now let me just create another API. So this is my root API, guys. This is my root API, and it is basically saying, I'll not say root API. I'll just say that this is just my welcome page, and this is just like my root page when I'm going inside my web app, Flask web app. Now the next step will be that I will try to create a function which I will say it as predict underscore note underscore authentication. Okay, so this is my function, and this is my predict note and authentication. What I'm going to do, I'll just, and this is just my another function, and the main work of this particular function, when I see over here, that I have to provide how many parameters. If I just go inside this particular page, right, there are 4 features that I need to provide, right? 4 features, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so inside these 4 features, what I'll do is that I'll create 4 variables saying as variance. Okay, now my first feature is variance. Inside this variance, I will try to suppose if I'm sending this particular values, as a get, I have to provide this variables values, then only I'll be able to classify through my classifier.pickle file. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to write request.args, and then I'm going to say get. Inside get, I'm just going to display my variable that is called as variance. Okay, so when I am actually you'll just see it. It will be awesome. What this actually works does, I'll just tell you. Okay, sorry, it should be just single equal to. So I'll tell you what this exactly does when I'll run and show it to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to see it for the another variable. For my another variable is basically skewness. In skewness also I'll say that, okay, request.args.get. Okay, and this will be my skewness value. Okay, similarly my third variable is kurtosis. For kurtosis I'll say request.args.get, and that is why we had imported this request function library, guys. So I'm just going to write kurtosis over here. Well, this is very good. Till here we have actually done it. Now my fourth variable is basically my entropy. So for the entropy also I'll be writing similar in the similar way. So I'll just say entropy is equal to request. Just let me see. Oh, sorry, it is not request. What I have written. I here also I have spelling mistake. Sorry guys. Just a simple spelling mistake. It usually happens, but I think you should be fine with it. Request.args.get, right? And here I'm just going to say it as entropy. Perfect. And over here, whatever error it comes, guys, I'm not going to edit it because I want all you want to see that what kind of errors may come. Okay, so you will not have any queries with respect to different kind of errors that you see. Now I'm going to say that, okay, prediction, I've already loaded my model. All I have to do is that I have to just write classifier.predict. See, whatever values I am getting with respect to variance, skewness, kurtosis, and entropy, these are my inputs. So considering this particular input, you can see that I'm going to pass my input over here, variance, skewness, kurtosis, and entropy. Perfect. Now, when I am doing this, I'm actually predicting by giving all this particular input value, and finally I'll be getting my prediction. Now, once I get my prediction, what I'm going to do is that, guys, I'm just going to return this prediction back saying that, okay, the predicted, I'll just put a statement saying that the predicted value is, and I'm just going to write it as something like this, plus whatever my prediction value is there. Whatever my prediction value will be there. Now this particular prediction value, okay, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to concatenate it. But if I want to concatenate it, I'll just have to convert this into string. So I have done this pretty much simple, guys. What I am doing over here in this particular function, I'm taking all the variance value. I'll show you from where this value will be coming up. Skewness value, kurtosis value, entropy value, right? And all these are my input features. Once I pass all these input features to my model, which is my classifier, which is loaded over here, this classifier is going to do the prediction and is going to return it. But still, we have not put a decorator, so I'm just going to write a decorator like route. Okay, and here I'm just going to say that /predict. And by default, this will also be a get method, guys. Understand, over here, I'm not specifying get method. By default, it will be get. Remember, we need to get this variable, right? First of all, before predicting it. So we are actually going to use get over here. Now let's go ahead and try to run this. I think it will run in a better way. And how I'll show you, you can test it in the browser also. I'll show you how to do it. So I'm just going to execute it. Let's execute it. Now it's running over here in the same location. What I'm going to do over here, I know my function that is /predict, and here you can see that I'm giving variance. These all are my parameters that I'm actually giving inside this particular function for this particular function, which I can retrieve it by using the get request. So here I'm giving variance is equal to 2, skewness is equal to 3, kurtosis is equal to 2, entropy is equal to 1. And remember, we have to give with this ampersand symbol so that we can give any number of parameters. Now, as soon as I execute this, you will be able to see that I'm getting the output as predicted value is 0. So this basically gives, for this value, the class is actually 0. Pretty much simple. And this is an amazing way to do it. You can also test with some other values like, suppose I say 0. Okay, I'll just give some minus values. Let's see. minus 2 and 1. If I execute, you can see that the predicted value is 1. So it is able to classify both the classes, zeros and ones. Pretty much amazing, right? A better way to actually see how my output is actually coming. You can see it clearly over here how the output is there. The predicted value is actually 1. Perfect. Now let's go to the next step. One thing that I have done is that, guys, I have also taken one test file. And if I open this test file, if you see this test file is having some test data that are present inside this, and we'll try to test what will be the classes for this test data also. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to do it. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here. This will be my another thing, and here I'll just say predict underscore file, or I'll just write it as predict underscore file. That basically means I am going to pass my file, and then all the values should be getting predicted. Okay, so here I will be using the methods. You can specifically say that we have to use the method as post. Now there is a reason why we are using post, guys. Remember, because this is a test file.csv. I have to provide all these particular values, in the body. Then only we'll be able to predict it, right? So here again, we are going to make some code changes, and that code changes will be pretty much important. Now, how do I make the code change? I'm just going to remove all these particular values, guys, so that it becomes easy for you to understand. Okay. So first of all, let me say that, okay, this is my data frame test. Now inside this data frame, first of all, I'm going to read my CSV file, because here, whatever file I'm uploading in the body, it is in the form of .csv file. So I'm just going to write pd underscore read underscore CSV, sorry, pd.read underscore CSV. And now understand, since we are passing in the body, still we have to use this request library only. Now, in order to get the in order to get the CSV data through request, I will just use request.files.get, and here I'm just going to give my whatever input name that I'm trying to give over here, guys. Remember, suppose if I give file over here, so this file variable will be having the whole data of test.testfile.csv. Okay, then what I'm going to do after this, I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to say that, okay, first of all, classifier, okay, classifier.predict. I'm just going to predict whatever value have actually come in df underscore test. Simple. Okay, and this will actually be my prediction value. So let me just write it as a prediction value, and inside this prediction value, you can see that whatever I'm doing, classifier.predict or df underscore test, that will be the output over here. And now I will say the predicted values for the CSV is, so there will be a list of values. So before, again, remember, guys, this test file.csv has many records, so it is always better to convert this prediction in the form of list. So I'm just going to make this in the form of list. Sorry, it should be round braces only, so I'm just going to make it over here. Perfect. Now this is what is I have done. You can see that I have two main functions or two main APIs. One is /predict and the other one is /predict underscore file. One is having the get method, one is having the post method. Now this is pretty much, guys. Let's run this in the second /predict underscore file. We will pass a test file.csv. Okay. Now definitely we cannot do this from the browser once we run. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use something called as Postman. In Postman, we'll try to see how we can call /predict and how we can call /predict underscore file. So I'm just going to execute this once again. Okay, there is an error saying that print. Okay, sorry. So what I've done is, guys, I've used the same function, which usually I make a mistake as such. Instead of making authentication, I will just say print note file. Okay, so I'm just going to change the function name over here. So let's run this and let's see now whether it is working fine or not. Perfect, it's working. Let me open my Postman. If you don't know about Postman, guys, just go and search in the Google Postman download. Once you download, you will be getting this kind of Postman itself. And what you have to do is that, let me just show you what we can actually do. Now here, let me just remove this. Now see, guys, this is my first API. Okay, so I know my Flask app is running at 127.0.1:5000, which 5000 is my port. here you can see that I've given the same slash predict. You can see slash predict is a get function. So I have used get function. Now, always remember, whenever there is a get function, you can provide parameters from this side. Okay, parameters. Now, what are the parameters that you need to give when you are actually giving values with respect to slash predict? There are 4 parameters: variance, skewness, kurtosis, entropy. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this variance. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to put a value like 0. Okay. Then I have something like skewness. Now my skewness value over here will be somewhere like 3. Then I'm going to give the value as kurtosis. Now you can see kurtosis value. I'm just going to give the value as 4. And finally, I'm going to give entropy. And remember, you have to give this whatever variable name you have given over here, right? Same variable name you have to give over here. Now this particular value, suppose I take it as 2. Now what I have to do is that you can see automatically this particular get, since we are using a get, automatically these things are added over here after the question mark, you know. So when I do send, you can see that the predicted value is 1. So this whole variable, when we are passing this single record of variance, skewness, kurtosis, and entropy, this is saying that it is belonging to class 1. Now let's go ahead with this predict underscore file. Okay, I'm just going to show you. Let me just remove this so that I show you from scratch. Now predict underscore file, how will the function look like? I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to paste over here and I'm going to say underscore file, right? Let me make this as post, because this is a post method, right? Predict underscore file is a post method. It is saying that we will be passing a file. Okay, so we are saying request.files.get. How we can actually pass a file? Just go to the body. Okay, inside the body you can actually select form data, and inside this you select file. Okay, you know what is your file name, file variable name? It is nothing but this is normal file itself, file, and just go and select the file. Now go and select the file, just go inside to your folder, wherever your CSV file is there, just open it, and now you have done almost all the things. Now just do send. Now here you can see the predicted values for the CSV is 0000111111. So amazing. You were able to test through Postman. Okay, test through Postman. Now guys, there is one important thing I really want to make you understand about that. Now you have developed the API, but still, what is the main thing that is remaining? You actually need a front end application to see how you are actually passing the inputs and all, right? So for that, we will be using a very good library, and that will be shown you in the next video, guys. That library, what we will basically call it as, and it is a very important library, many people use it, we call it as Flaskr. Okay, so we will be working with a library which is called as Flaskr. I'll show you how the Flaskr library looks like. This is what is a Flaskr library. We basically say it as a Swagger API. You can see we will be trying to create a front-end application, because we basically are not front-end developers, right? So with the help of Flaskr, we will be able to create a front-end UI, you know, or you can say that we'll just try to create a front-end application, which will be a simple application where we can give our values like this, and we can execute it, and then you'll be able to see the output, you know. So this will be actually shown you in the next video, but I hope you have understood how we have created the APIs over here in a much more simpler way. So just try it by yourself. All this particular code will be given in the GitHub. The link will be given in the description. And make sure, guys, please share this playlist, that is Docker playlist, with everyone, because you will be learning many things after this. After we create a Flask API, after we create this Flask application, you know, we will try to Dockerize it in a proper way. So yes, this was all about this particular video. I hope you like it. Please do subscribe the channel if you have not already subscribed. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, one and all. Bye bye.